While some might argue that the reason why teenagers and students don't enjoy and embrace classic novels is because they're lazy, another reason might be because many of the stories they just lack representation and they lack identities in which the audience can connect with. I will be giving you tons of books that take the essence and themes and motifs and symbols of these classics. However, they pretty much retell these classics with a twist by celebrating new voices, by celebrating more diverse religions. So this book tells the story of Victor Frankenstein, a Swiss student of natural science who creates an artificial man from the pieces of corpses, and then he brings his creature to life. But obviously this raises many questions of whether this is ethical or unethical, and it's a great read overall. So the retelling I have here is Frankenstein in Baghdad by Ahmed Sadawi, I think? I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing the author's name, but anyways, so Frankenstein in Baghdad, set in the backdrop of the US occupation in Baghdad. And there's this junk dealer named Hattie, and he basically creates his own form of the monster. However, there's a twist here because he creates it with pieces of victims, hoping that the government will realize the cost of human lives. This book is brutal. The next retelling we have of Frankenstein is Natural Creatures, and this is a novel of the Frankenstein women by Chris Waddleher. So basically, this novel tells the story, as I mentioned, it's the retelling of the women in Frankenstein. There's an awesome trailer if you want to go check it out. I'm going to link it in the description below. But basically, we have the mother, Caroline Frankenstein, we have the bride, and then she's rescued by Caroline as a 4-year-old beggar, and we have this whole backstory of each woman in Frankenstein. So this is incredible because I do feel like when I was reading the book, despite I think Mary Shelley's grandmother was Mary Wollstonecraft, and she was a prominent feminist and enlightenment, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is actually rather sexist. So this take on the woman of Frankenstein is really interesting, and I certainly enjoyed the book. Okay, so the next retelling we have is Anna Karenina, and the retelling is Anna K. I actually haven't read this novel, however, from what I've heard, this adaptation features a 17-year-old of New York City, and she's basically embroiled in all sorts of scandalous behaviors. And as I mentioned, I think from what I've heard, the reviews are pretty mixed. But I think if you like Gossip Girls, then I think this is the type of story you'll like. As I mentioned, I've never read this book or I've never watched Gossip Girls, but from what I've heard, this is apparently what's interesting. Okay, so next we have Little Women. So this is one of my favorite childhood books. I still really like it, but the retelling of this novel is called Meg and Jo by Virginia Contra. So this one is very different from the novel because it puts the 4 March sisters in various parts of the country, and they're each trying to pursue their own dreams, just like in the original version. Meg is living her supposed perfect life with her husband and her kids. However, Jo is a struggling journalist in New York City, and both of them are called home when their mother gets sick, and then they just start to realize what truly matters in their life. So I think it's interesting to imagine the sisters as millennials who navigate through the external and internal pressures that modern women face. Since I've watched so many of the different Little Women adaptations, seeing this retelling put in modern times is interesting. But yeah, there's another book I believe called Beth and Amy, and both of the books are by Virginia Contra. So if you're interested, then I would recommend. For the retellings of Pride and Prejudice, I chose a more diverse novel because this one is from a Muslim family. But anyways, Ayesha lives with her Muslim family, including a younger sister who prides herself on turning down dozens of marriages and proposals. However, when she meets Khalid, she's immensely turned off by his attitude, and that doesn't really stop her from being shocked and maybe even jealous when she finds out that he's marrying her sister. So yeah, this is a Pride and Prejudice retelling. I think what makes this retelling even more interesting is when you hear that this is actually about a different culture and a different religion. So I like the diversity. So yeah, that's all of the retellings I have. So if you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to leave a comment saying what your favorite retelling is, and I'd love to check it out. So thank you for watching this video. That's all. Bye.